It's a Saturday morning in 1950 in Dayton, Ohio. A 9-year-old is pulling a metal wagon down the sidewalk. In the wagon, 11 empty Coca-Cola bottles. 6 he drank. 5 he found in the weeds along the railroad cut. Because he knows something every kid in America knows. Those bottles are money. At the grocery on the corner, the man at the register doesn't ask where they came from. He counts them, opens the drawer, and hands over 22 cents. The bottles go into a wooden crate behind the counter. On Tuesday, a truck from the local bottling plant will take the crate away and bring back the same bottles, washed, refilled, capped. The boy has no idea he is standing inside the most efficient packaging system his country will ever build. Nobody told him, because nobody needed to. There was no campaign. There was no bin. There was no symbol. There was just a system with one rule. The bottle came back. This is the story of how that system worked, the year someone decided to kill it, and the strange place on Earth where it's still running today. Some of you watching this don't need the history. You lived it. You carried the wagon. You felt the weight of a full crate and the specific satisfaction of coins in your palm that you earned off other people's empties. This video is for you and for everyone who came after you, who was handed a blue bin and told it was progress. Because the system you remember wasn't quaint. It wasn't simple people doing simple things. It was an industrial machine, refined over 60 years, that hit efficiency numbers no recycling program has ever touched. And it was destroyed on purpose, on a schedule, by companies whose names you know. The bottle came back, until someone decided it shouldn't. The deposit was a contract, and a 2-cent contract was enough to run a national system. 2 cents in 1950 is roughly a quarter today, per bottle. A kid with a wagon and 20 empties was holding a movie ticket. An adult who threw a bottle in a ditch was throwing away money, which is why almost nobody did. That's litter control without a litter campaign. The deposit made every bottle on the ground somebody's payday. Kids were the collection infrastructure. Nobody organized them. The 2 cents organized them. The bottle itself was built for the loop. The Coca-Cola Contour bottle was thick, heavy glass, over-engineered on purpose, designed to survive dozens of round trips. Scuff rings around the middle told you how many journeys a bottle had made. Veterans of 40 trips were common. Here's what the inside of that system looked like. Crates of empties came in one end of the building. The bottles ran through a caustic soda bath hot enough to sterilize them, then past an inspection light where a worker watched every single bottle pass in front of a white screen. Chipped neck, out. Cracked base, out. The survivors ran straight into the filler. The empty you returned on Tuesday was on a shelf, full by Friday. The factory's raw material arrived on the same truck that delivered its product. The geography is the part everyone forgets. Heavy, refillable bottles can't travel far. The economics only work in short loops. So the system required local plants. More than 1,000 Coca-Cola bottling plants operated across mid-century America. Nearly every mid-sized town had one, plus local breweries and regional soda makers. The bottle came back because it never went far. The system wasn't just zero waste, it was a jobs map. Hold on to that 2 cents. Because in about 6 minutes, I'm going to show you the exact year a state government tried to protect this system with a law and what the packaging industry founded that same year in response. The timing is not a coincidence. It's the whole story. August 1st, 1955. Life magazine publishes a photo feature titled "Throwaway Living." A family stands under a rain of disposable plates, cups, and containers falling from the sky, smiling. The article's pitch: all of these objects exist so you never have to wash anything again. Disposal rebranded as liberation. The throwaway wasn't a side effect of progress. It was the product being sold. The one-way container had one feature the refillable could never offer the manufacturer. You buy the package every single time. A refillable bottle was sold once and reused 50 times. 50 sales of liquid, 1 sale of glass. A one-way container meant 50 sales of glass. For the companies that made cans and bottles, the refillable system wasn't inefficient. It was the competition. No deposit, no return, embossed right on the glass. Read it slowly. It's not a slogan. It's a terms of service change announced on the product itself. No deposit. The bottle is no longer worth anything. No return. It is no longer your money lying in the ditch. It's just trash now. The most honest packaging label ever printed, and it was printed as a selling point. There was a quiet second motive. Killing the local loop killed the local competitor. Refillable systems tied national brands to thousands of local bottlers and gave regional brewers a home field advantage. One way, containers could be filled in one giant plant and shipped one direction, any distance. In 1950, America had hundreds of breweries. 3 decades later, most were gone, and the bottling map consolidated the same way. The throwaway container wasn't just a packaging decision, it was a market consolidation weapon. The towns lost the plant and got the landfill. Now, everything so far is what happened. This next part is who did it. One state saw all of this coming in 1953, passed a law to stop it, and what the industry did in response created an organization you have definitely heard of. You just never heard the two stories connected. Vermont passes a law banning the sale of beer in non-refillable bottles. Not a deposit law, a ban on the throwaway container itself. Farmers were finding one-way bottles in hayfields. Broken glass was ending up in cattle feed. The legislature looked at the new disposable bottle and outlawed it. First state to see the throwaway future and say no. The same year, 1953, the packaging industry founded an organization called Keep America Beautiful. Among the founders, the American Can Company and the Owens, Illinois Glass Company, the manufacturers of the throwaway containers themselves, soon joined by the major beverage brands. Its public mission was fighting litter. Its founding year was the year a state banned its product. You can decide for yourself whether those facts are related. 1957. Vermont's ban is allowed to die. 4 years of industry pressure, and the legislature simply let it lapse. No repeal vote with cameras. It just expired. The only state law ever to ban the throwaway bottle lasted 4 years. The organization founded to fight litter is still running today. Once broken glass in a hayfield was called litter, the question was no longer who manufactured this, but who dropped it. And so, state by state, brand by brand, through the 60s, the bottle stopped coming back. Refillables went from essentially all soft drinks in 1947 to a minority by the 70s to a rounding error by the 90s. The washing lines were torn out. The local plants closed. The deposit drawer at the corner grocery stopped opening. The kids' wagons stayed in the garage. One sentence for the viewers who lived it. You didn't imagine it, and you didn't misremember it. The better system existed, it worked, and it was ended on purpose because it sold too little glass. Which raises the obvious question, did anyone ever try to bring it back? The answer is yes. One state did, in 1971, and the return numbers were so good they should have ended the argument forever. What happened instead tells you exactly how much money is riding on you for getting all of this. 1971. Oregon passes America's first bottle bill, a 5-cent deposit on beverage containers. Not a ban, just the old 2-cent contract, reborn. Roadside container litter drops sharply within a few years. The mechanism still worked. It never stopped working. It's a price signal, and price signals don't age. A handful of states follow through the 70s and 80s. Then, after 1986, for 16 straight years, not one new state bottle bill passes in the United States. Not because the idea stopped working, because opposing it became a standing industry budget line. The receipt, in one modern example, Massachusetts, 2014. A ballot question proposing to extend the state's existing deposit to water bottles and sports drinks. The beverage industry spent roughly $9 million against it, among the most expensive ballot campaigns in the state's history, and the measure lost 3-1. $9 million against a nickel. When someone spends $9 million to stop you from getting your own nickel back, the nickel is not the thing they're afraid of. What they're afraid of is the precedent underneath it, that the container is the producer's responsibility. The deposit is a small door into that idea. They have paid, decade after decade, to keep that door shut. And now the part from the beginning of this video. The place where the old system never died, run at a profit by the company on the side of that 9-year-old's bottles. In Mexico and Brazil, Coca-Cola still operates refillable glass at national scale. The returnable bottle. You pay a deposit at the corner store, return the empty, and it goes back to the plant, through a washing line, and onto the shelf again. The same loop the Wagon Kid was part of in 1950, running right now, today. Coca-Cola's own sustainability materials cite its refillable systems in Latin America as a success story, affordable for consumers, profitable for bottlers, dramatically less packaging waste. The company is not hiding it. It's proud of it. So the final question of this video isn't, could the old system work in modern times? It demonstrably does, under the flagship brand of American capitalism, this minute. The question is, why it works there and not here, and the answer is the least satisfying kind. There, the refill loop is the profitable option. Here, 60 years of throwaway infrastructure, dead local plants, and defeated nickel laws made sure it isn't. Nothing about the bottle changed. The math around it was changed, deliberately, one lobbying campaign at a time. Here is the honest thing to take from all of this. The deposit still works. 10 US states have one right now, and in those states, beverage containers come back at multiples of the rate everywhere else. Not because the people are different, because the bottle is worth something. That was the entire secret in 1950, and it has never stopped being true. Things that are worth money do not end up in ditches. If you live in a deposit state, that nickel is the last working piece of the old machine. Use it. If you don't, know this. Every few years, a bottle bill shows up in a state legislature somewhere, and every time, it is outspent into the ground by the same handful of companies. The bill is usually 1 page long. The argument against it has never once been, it doesn't work. It's always, it's inconvenient. It was inconvenient in 1953, too. For them. The boy with the wagon didn't know he was part of a system. He just knew the rule. The bottle came back. It still can. If you collected bottles as a kid, I want the details. The year, what the deposit was, and what you bought with the money. Put it in the comments, because the people who lived this system are the best record of it that exists.